Lewis Hamilton's name is synonymous with greatness. He was considered the greatest of all time by many people. Aside from his on-race track achievements and being a great F1 driver, he also has a life outside of it, and he is not free from the news and controversies that surround him. But the question we all want to know, what the is up with Lewis Hamilton? Today, we're going to take a peek into Lewis Hamilton's career and talk about the shocking news of him leaving Mercedes for Ferrari after more than a decade. The life of Lewis Hamilton is mostly seen in his success in his racing career, but outside of his F1 achievements, his life is nothing new to the world of controversies, including his activism and his issues, including a car crash in Monaco back in 2015 and the suspension of his driver's license in 2007 because of speeding. Before we talk about it, let's first acknowledge the greatness of this man. When he was 6 years old, his father gave him a remote-controlled car, which was the start of his love for driving. He started karting when he was 8 years old and quickly showed how good he was by winning a lot of events in his early years. When he was 13 years old, McLaren's driver development program signed him. Hamilton's first race in Formula One was with McLaren in 2007. He quickly became famous in the racing world. He came in second in the championship in his first season, just behind Fernando Alonso, who was also on his team. After that, in 2008, Hamilton won his first world championship in a very close race in Brazil. He has broken a lot of records and reached a lot of important goals in his work. Now he holds the records for the most pole positions with 104, the most wins from pole positions with 61, and the most starts in a row with 265. Together with the famous Michael Schumacher, he has won 7 world championships, which is the most ever by a driver. Hamilton has won 103 Grand Prix races, making him the most successful driver in terms of race wins. He has also won 3 world championships. Aside from that, he has won the Laureus World Sports Award 4 times, in 2008, 2009, 2014, and 2019. Hamilton has had the most success of any driver since he joined Mercedes in 2013. From 2014 to 2020, he has won 6 of the last 7 titles. The only time he lost was in 2016. He keeps getting better, and one day he might have a record-setting 8 world titles. On the other hand, let's talk about his off-track activism. He is not only a world-renowned F1 driver, but also a human who wants to use his voice to make a change. To encourage people to make environmentally friendly and responsible food choices, he opened a chain of plant-based burger restaurants called Neat Burger. Tommaso Chiabra started it in 2019, and Lewis Hamilton and Leonardo DiCaprio have supported it. They started with 1 location in Mayfair, London, and now have 8 restaurants in the city. In the same year, he gave 500,000 to his arm to help with the rescue efforts for the Australian bushfires. He has also supported UNICEF for a long time and has used social media to bring attention to and raise money for the organization's work. Even though people criticize and attack him for being politically involved, he doesn't seem to be stopping. He has used the bad things that people have said about him to keep fighting for what he believes in. He speaks out against injustice and is a fighter. He has used his fame and power to bring attention to and bring about change on several issues in the past few years. One of the most important things Hamilton has done as an activist is speak out against racism and racial inequality. This was after the death of George Floyd and the worldwide Black Lives Matter protests in 2020. He started the Hamilton Commission, a study project to make motorsports more diverse. Together with the Royal Academy of Engineering, the Commission wants to find out what makes it hard for Black people to get into the motorsport business and make suggestions for how things could be changed. According to an article in Sports Illustrated, the 7-time world champion has taken a strong stand for human rights and has done so many times in public. The British driver, like Sebastian Vettel, took a knee to support the Black Lives Matter movement. To show support for the LGBTQ+ community, he often wears purple and rainbow-colored race suits. Hamilton wanted to show his support by wearing a colorful helmet. He stated, "For me, it's mind-blowing that we live in a time still where there are so many countries around the world, but particularly a lot of human rights issues within the Middle East. Women's rights, LGBT+ rights," he told the camera. He goes on to say that he will do anything to stand up for what he believes in. "I don't care what they're going to do. I'm going to stand for something that I believe in, even if it kills me." Time magazine named him one of the 100 most influential people in the world in 2020. It's amazing how hard he works to make the world a better place, and his effects will be felt for years to come. Now let's talk about the most recent news about the 7-time champion. In an article from Sports Illustrated, he talks about how hard it was for him to race in Formula One in 2023. He said the year was emotionally draining, which shows how hard things were for him and Mercedes. He hadn't won a race since the 2021 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. This result was very different from how well he and his team Mercedes had done in the past. The competition changed a lot when new technical rules were put in place, which put Mercedes further down the F1 rankings. Even though the team was having trouble, he still finished in a solid third place in the Drivers' Championship. George Russell, another member of his team, came in 8th, but for Hamilton, the end of the season was more of a relief than a reason to celebrate. Speaking to the media, he shared, "I'm not burned out. I'd rather not keep going into the season, but I think for me, I'm just more emotionally drained at the end of the year." He added that, "It definitely has been so difficult for everybody here, all the teams moving from Las Vegas out to Abu Dhabi. I think it should be better next year. It's obviously a very long season. I think, really, with all the negativity in the world as well, it's been quite draining just to maintain a positive mindset through the year." Remember when Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc were kicked out of the US Grand Prix in October 2023? They pushed Verstappen and Red Bull for the win more than any other weekend, except for this one. AutoWeek says that Hamilton finished second in the 56-lap race at the Circuit of the Americas, and Leclerc ended 6th. However, both of their cars failed post-race checks. The expert team for the FIA decided that the plank under the car had been worn down too much and no longer met the specifications. Because of this, both cars were kicked out of the race. But Hamilton and Leclerc's disqualifications in the USGP caused a stir in F1 since it was a sprint weekend. In 2023, the sprint format meant that the teams had to set up their cars in Parc Fermé for qualifying on Friday, and then use the same setup on Saturday and Sunday. Because of the penalty, Lando Norris of McLaren moves up to second place, and Carlos Sainz, who drives for Ferrari, moves up to third. Now let's talk about his shocking decision to leave Mercedes after 12 seasons. Back in August 2023, he signed a reported 2-year, $105 million deal to stay, but it also has a release clause that he used to sign with Ferrari. The Ferrari team announced on X that they had already signed Hamilton on a multi-year deal. The contract's worth is still unknown, but it is expected to be around $30 to $40 million per season, and could be higher and match the current 5-year contract of Verstappen, worth $275 million, according to SpotRack. His arrival at Ferrari will replace Carlos Sainz Jr., who confirmed that he will part ways with the team at the end of the 2024 season. On the other hand, it's a new opportunity and an anticipated partnership with Charles Leclerc, who recently agreed on a long-term deal with Ferrari. The decision by Lewis to leave Ferrari is shocking, but it looks like it was already expected because Mercedes boss Toto Wolff said that the relationship was the best between a team and a driver in the history of the sport. He said, "However, our partnership would come to a natural end at some point, and that day has now come. We accept Lewis's decision to seek a fresh challenge, and our opportunities for the future are exciting to contemplate. But for now, we still have 1 season to go, and we are focused on going racing to deliver a strong 2024. In a statement by Hamilton, he said that, "I am 100% committed to delivering the best performance I can this season and making my last year with the Silver Arrows one to remember." He also added that he is lying when he never thinks of ending his career somewhere else. "I thought about and watched the Ferrari drivers on the screens at the track, and of course, you wonder what it would be like to be in red." What do you all think about Lewis Hamilton's shocking move to Ferrari? Let us know in the comment section below.